Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The tension inside the Flagstaff courthouse was unlike anything the Sister Wives cast, crew, or fans had ever witnessed. Robyn Brown, the wife who was once positioned as Kody's soulmate and untouchable partner, now faces the unthinkable. The possibility of losing everything. This was the culmination of years of secrets, lies, and legal maneuvering. It was not another episode filled with awkward family sit-downs or passive-aggressive confessional interviews. It began as a heated property dispute over Kody Pass, but by the time closing arguments were made, the stakes had escalated into something far bigger. A verdict that could strip Robyn of the very home she shared with Kody and leave her financially stranded. With their lawyers armed with bulky binders of evidence, Christine and Janelle sat together at the plaintiff's table, their bond forged in the fire of betrayal and years of emotional neglect. In the meantime, Robyn was sitting at the defense table next to Kody. Her hands were clasped so tightly that her knuckles turned white, and her eyes darted nervously toward the judge, as if they were looking for a sign of mercy. But Judge Ellison, an authoritative figure with a calm, piercing presence, had made it clear early in the trial that personal charm and reality TV theatrics wouldn't work here. Law, fairness, and accountability were at the heart of this. The plaintiffs had meticulously dismantled Kody and Robyn's narrative throughout the proceedings, revealing the alleged ways in which the couple had manipulated property deeds, invested family funds in private ventures, and used emotional pressure to silence opposition from other wives. Court records revealed that Robyn's name had been added to certain property documents under questionable circumstances, effectively granting her outsized control over assets that had originally been shared by all four wives. Even more damaging was the revelation of a secret refinance on the Brown family home in Flagstaff, an action that, according to the plaintiffs, had been orchestrated by Kody and Robyn without notifying Christine or Janelle, and that had allegedly freed up hundreds of thousands of dollars used to pay off Robyn's personal debts and fund a lavish renovation project. The atmosphere became more intense as bank transfers and scanned copies of signed documents lit up the courtroom screens. It felt like a new piece of evidence was being added to the wall of public opinion shifting against Robyn. The most gut-wrenching moment occurred when a former Brown family financial advisor testified that he had personally advised Kody that the refinancing could jeopardize the family's long-term stability, particularly in the event that TLC ever decided to cancel Sister Wives. Kody's response, he testified, was chilling. "It won't matter. By then, we'll have everything we need." Gasps rippled through the gallery, and Robyn's face went pale. She was now seen as an active participant in decisions that had drained resources from the rest of the family, and the narrative that had portrayed her as an innocent bystander collapsed in that instant. Despite the judge's stoic demeanor, those present claimed to have seen the tiniest hint of disapproval in her eyes. Kody, on the other hand, tried to keep his usual self-assurance by leaning back in his chair and occasionally whispering to his attorney. However, with each accusatory statement, his jaw clenched even more. On the other hand, Christine and Janelle appeared to become lighter with each truth revealed, as if the years of gaslighting and public doubt were being lifted. The anticipation was palpable by the conclusion of the closing arguments. Supporters of Christine and Janelle packed the gallery, some wearing Team Janelle and Christine's Truth shirts, while a small but vocal group of Robyn defenders huddled in the back. The judge called for order as she prepared to deliver the verdict. As she began to explain the findings of the court, which included that the property transfers had been made in bad faith, that the refinancing had been carried out without the proper consent, and that the allocation of funds had violated the agreements that the family members had made, her voice was steady but carried an unmistakable gravity. Judge Ellison made a stunning declaration stating that the assets and properties in question were to be divided fairly, with a significant portion going to Christine and Janelle. But then came the moment that truly shook the room. An order that the Flagstaff home where Kody and Robyn lived be sold, with proceeds distributed to satisfy outstanding debts and compensate the other wives for their lost equity. Robyn grabbed Kody's arm as if she were physically clinging to the life they had created together as her breath became audible. Although the term homeless was not used in the courtroom, its presence was felt. Robyn's future suddenly appeared to be uncertain due to the court's award of a substantial financial judgment to Christine and Janelle. The judge's final words, as she turned her attention to Kody, would live on in headlines for days. Mr. Brown says that leadership in a family, whether it's polygamous or not, is not a license to lie. This court will not permit such actions to continue because you have abused the trust of those who depended on you. Only the frantic clicking of reporters' keyboards and Robyn's muffled sobs as she buried her face in her hands broke the deafening silence that followed. A moment of mutual vindication that had been years in the making. Janelle and Christine exchanged a brief, knowing glance. The scene exploded into a media frenzy outside the courthouse. In an effort to capture reactions, reporters crowded the steps. Christine spoke first, her voice clear and resolute. This wasn't about revenge. Today we got fairness. It was about fairness. Janelle, who has always been measured, added, it's closure. What matters is that. Later, Kody and Robyn left under the watchful eyes of protesters and the media. Kody's jaw was set in a defiant grimace while Robyn kept her head down and continued to cry. Fans dissected every aspect of the verdict, from the judge's harsh remarks to the symbolic weight of stripping Robyn and Kody of their home. As the hashtags #RobynHomeless and #KodyStunned began trending within minutes. Some saw it as poetic justice. Others viewed it as a tragic fall from grace. But for Christine and Janelle, the outcome was simple. They had fought, they had endured, and in the end, the truth had prevailed. As the dust settled on the courthouse steps, one thing was certain. This verdict wasn't just a legal win. It was the most dramatic twist in Sister Wives history. A turning point that would forever redefine the narrative of Kody Brown's fractured family. Robyn's role in the events that led to this day was now written into the public record, making it impossible to rewrite or spin it, despite the fact that her future was uncertain. The reality was more shocking than anything TLC could have written. So the cameras didn't have to create drama for once. It was as if the air itself had changed when Judge Ellison's decision was echoed throughout the room when the gavel fell. For Christine and Janelle, it was a sound that marked the end of years of frustration, whispered accusations, and public gaslighting. It was the audible confirmation for Kody and Robyn that the financial, emotional, and reputational barriers they had built around themselves were falling down. Robyn didn't move at first. Her eyes stared blankly at the polished wood table in front of her, as though she were trying to process a language she didn't understand. Her face only tightened as Kody leaned in to whisper something sharp and urgent. This was a woman who had fought hard to maintain the image of stability and unity in the family's final years on Sister Wives. And now she was hearing, in front of the world, that the very home she'd called her sanctuary would be sold off like an asset in a liquidation sale.